Hello everyone, welcome on in. It's Betting Weekly Game Bet Match. It's your number one tennis betting podcast and YouTube show brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. I'm Nigel Seeley, I'm your host. Joining me is our ATP Tour senior handicapper. It is Sean Calvert. Before I say hello to Sean, get his best bets for tomorrow on Wednesday in the ATP 250 in Montpellier. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like. I did ask you at the start of the week to hit the subscribe button. A lot of you did. So we had a bit of a surge on followers and subscribers. So if you could do that again, that would be really, really helpful. It keeps us going, all the content, and you'll be notified of every time anything drops. So please hit the subscribe button. Join us on what is the fastest growing tennis betting YouTube channel. Good afternoon, Sean. How are you?
Good afternoon. I can't see you, actually, by the way. Have we?
Well, it's me who's got the eye problems, not you. You should be able to see me.
I can't. All I can see is myself.
Oh, well, that's all right. You're okay. It's not a problem. You can hear me, though. It's the main thing, yeah?
I can hear you. I just can't see you. Yeah. I'm fine, thank you, mate. Yes, very well indeed.
Good. We have three matches that we are going to discuss over in Montpellier for tomorrow with Bet Rivers. We start the week with a winner. A nice winner to bring us up to minus 1.30 units on the year so far. It was nice to start a week with a winner.
Yeah, not without the stress, though. What was he, 5-1 up?
You didn't even know the score until about 2 minutes ago. You had no stress whatsoever. You were out playing paddle. You didn't have a clue. I was in the hospital appointment. None of us even had any stress at all.
As it happens, you're right. I didn't have any stress, but everybody else that had been on this would have had considerable amount of stress. 5-1 up, by the look of this. 3 match points. Then he was behind in the tiebreak, having already blown a 5-1 lead. But yeah, it doesn't matter. It's won. I'll gloss over that because it's a winner. So let's take it. He should have won it. He should have won it a lot easier than he did, actually, Public Granny Buster. But yeah, like you just said, it's always nice to start the week with the winner. It gets you off on a positive footing, yeah.
Very important to get off to a winning start. Never want to be on the back foot. And we are off to a winning start to the 250 in Montpellier. We did discuss the conditions on the preview show, and it was a bit indifferent. We didn't know it was going to be quick. It was a bit slow last year. We expected it to be a little bit quicker. Yep. Magic Machine come out. I think I've been reading the stuff on socials. People were saying it's a little bit quicker than last year.
Yeah, I've got a theory here, actually, which may or may not prove to be correct. It does look a little bit quicker than last year, but mainly on the other court, I would say. I would say that central court, the main court, the big court, I wouldn't say that was particularly quick. I'd say that was about average. But the other court, the one that I always call the school gymnasium court, because that's kind of what it looks like, that looks a lot quicker. If you take in the stats from all the quali matches which were played on both courts, 84% holds, 74% first serve points won. That is, if you take in that from qualis, that would suggest it's pretty quick. But to me, court one looks quicker. And the stats suggest that it's quicker. If you look at the matches played on Sunday and Monday on that particular court, Dam and Tabor hit 50 aces between them in their match on Monday, which went to 3 tie-breaks. Blanchet won 94% of first serve points on that court, but he was playing Zapata Morales, who had retired and came back out of retirement and got hammered in that match by Blanchet. So 94%. A little bit of a question mark against that. Dam played on that court twice, 81% and 80% first serve points won. Tabor, very similar stats, 80% and 79% first serve points won. Vavasori played on that court, 91% first serve points won against Caballes-Baena and 84% against Grenier. So that would suggest that court, as it looks like from my naked eye, is quicker. And if you look at what Mpechi Pericard did, I don't know whether you saw, he got a bizarre eye injury. Talking about eye injuries, he got an eye injury last night, got a ball in the face. And Mpechi Pericard, that's why he had to retire. But if you look at what he did in Mpechi Pericard on that main court, he got 85% of his first serves in play, but he only won 70% of them. It just looks a bit slower on that main court. I would suggest that the quicker conditions are on that smaller court.
Check out the order of play when it's announced tomorrow, or this evening actually, for the tomorrow schedule. We don't know the times of the matches, but they will be the early hours of tomorrow morning, given the time difference between the US and Montpellier over in France. We do know the matches we're going to discuss. The first match is the match between Tomas Machac and Artur Gea. Machac is minus 227. Gea is plus 165. Spread is 1.5, and the total here is 22.5 with Bet Rivers, set betting and set spread. Gea is the guy who was very fortunate to come through against Mpechi Pericard. He was winning. He was set up, so he was playing well. Yeah. Mpechi Pericard got the injury, which meant that the young Frenchman come through here. And he's going to have some support behind him. He's in good nick. Look at his form. I mean, he got to the second round of the Australian Open, got beat by Wawrinka in 5 sets, beat Lehechka, comes through qualification. He's done well won a Challenger as well the week before that as well. So he started the year well, and he's continuing that run here. Only 21 years of age. It's a big test for him, but looking good for the Frenchman here.
Yeah, I think this could be a test for Machac. I mean, Gea is in the form of his life right now. He's won a ton of matches. At Challenger level, but he won the Nouméa Challenger the start of this year, played well in Challengers at the end of last year as well, came through qualies at the Australian Open. And if we look at what he's done it's a very small snapshot of time, but this is about momentum, about how he's playing right now, how he's feeling right now. The 3 main level matches he's played in 2026, he's got service points won and return points won, total of 107 in matches against Jiří Lehečka, Stan Wawrinka and Mpechi Pericard, and he's winning 37% of return points in those matches against 3 guys that can serve pretty big, massive in the case of Mpechi Pericard, still pretty big in the case of Wawrinka and Lehečka, and he's winning 37% of return points. He won 35% of return points against Mpechi last night. People might say Mpechi was injured, but he wasn't. He just got hit in the face right at the end of the first set, so that didn't really make any difference to the statistics of the set. He's still winning a huge amount of return points against arguably the biggest server in the game on a reasonably paced indoor hardcourt. So his return game is in great shape. He's a good mover. He moves really athletic, moves really well, comes to the net. He's got variety, decent pop on his ground strokes, and perhaps most importantly, he's feeling confident, like massively confident right now. And he's got his family there as well. They came out to watch him against Mpechi Pericard. So that sometimes that can go the other way. They feel stressed, but that didn't seem to be the case yesterday. And this is a tough opening round match for Tomas Machac. I mean, he's in good form, Tomas Machac. 78% win rate this year, but his service points won and return points won total is only 101. It suggests that 78% win rate is quite high for a total like that. If we look at what he's done on indoor hard Machac at main level, it's not that great. He's got a 50% win rate, 10 wins, 10 losses, and service points won and return points won total is 99.5. Not outstanding, not poor. It's just kind of all right. And I just think it would be a difficult one for him to come through, given that Gea has obviously had that advantage. Gea has had the advantage of playing that match already. I assume it's going to be on the same court. I would imagine so, given that Machac is the number 3 seed. So there's a lot of upside here for Gea. He's playing really well. He's confident. He's feeling it at the minute. So I think the bets here are siding with him in some way. I kind of toyed with the handicap, but I don't know about plus. Is it 3? It's 3.5, isn't it? The handicap 2.5.
1.5 now, but you can go to it. It's very heavily juiced up.
Yeah. I don't. It put me off that. I was kind of toying with the idea of the opening set to him as well, given that he's had that match under his belt already on that court. I've settled on the over 22.5 games here. I can see this being a tough match. Machac may well come through it, but I think he'll have a fight on his hands against a player who's on the up at the minute. 21 years of age, feeling like he can do a lot of the minute in the game. It's it's a tough opener for Machac. So, over 22.5 games is the bet here.
Over 22.5 is our first official play, and that graphic there of the spreads, I think that's incorrect. It's got plus 1.5 game, -1 off, -188, and -163. Check out the BetRivers app. Doesn't look correct there, so just make sure you check that out tomorrow. We do have some odds on our next match, Hamad-Medjedovic up against Stanislaus Wawrinka, but unfortunately, by the time we've done the graphic, these have moved quite a lot, actually. Hamad-Medjedovic is -177 now. I mean, it's an actual error, actually. It's -177, Medjedovic, and +140 for Stanislaus Wawrinka. Its spread is 2.5. Total here is 23.5. So no real move there, but just that price on Medjedovic is -177. He's got a lot of points to defend this week. He was the defending champion last year. The defending finalist, wasn't he? The finalist last year.
Medjedovic wasn't. No.
Kovacevic was number.
Kovacevic,
I think he went deep in the tournament. Did he get the quarterfinals, semi-finals? I'm sure he went quite deep. I was
That
there.
was
and I
Marseille.
watched it.
That was Marseille
Right.
last year, which was played a week later. But you're right. He's still going to have to defend points because Marseille has moved. They've shifted Marseille to, I think it's towards the end of the year now. I'm pretty sure they've moved it. So he still has to, even if the tournament moves, you still have to defend the points that you got in that corresponding week. So you're right. He still does have points to defend. Yes, I think it's next week. So technically he could make them up in Rotterdam, but he's got to go through qualies there. So it's a little complicated.
Our strategy last season was to bet the over in set number 1 for a Wawrinka match. It's been pretty good this year. There's a lot of oversets as well. Went deep in the Australian Open, a lot better than many expected to get to the third round. Played Taylor Fritz. He beat Gea, the guy we spoke about in the first match, and Laszlo Jerry there in Melbourne. Triple across here, other side of the world. Both players have been over there. Diminor was the victor over Medjedovic in round 2. What do you think of this one?
I think I really love to watch this, actually. I kind of wish I was there for this match. This should be really entertaining. Lots of great shot making. It should be pretty close given how Wawrinka started this season. He's still playing to a very, very high level. It's quite remarkable what he's doing really at his age. If you look at this season so far at main level, Wawrinka, service points won and return points won, total of 101 and 88% holds of serve. Medjedovic's stats are a little bit skewed, really. He's got a total of 97 in the few matches that he's played, but he has faced Alex Diminor, Jakub Mensik, Kovacevic, and Navone. So he's faced some very good players, particularly Diminor and Mensik, obviously. So I wouldn't be too concerned about Medjedovic's 2026 stats so far. It's a very small snapshot of time. I think the stats are more relevant for Wawrinka, who's showing that he can still play to a very high level. I mean, he's 41 next month, end of March, 28th of March, if you want to send him a card. He's 41.
I already have.
Oh, okay.
Early. I'm away next week, so I'll just send it early. He always sends me a text wishing me happy birthday.
Yeah, I thought he did, yeah. So just in case you've forgotten, 28th of March, everybody, Wawrinka's birthday. 41 next month, and he's still mixing it with these guys and mixing it very well. Medjedovic is very effective on indoor hard, as we mentioned. He's the players he's beaten on indoor hard. Medjedovic, it's an impressive list. He's beaten Medvedev, Khachanov, Rune, Sarundalo, Nakashima, Fils, Mickelson, Lehechka, beaten all them on indoor hard. Has Medjedovic. If you look at his last 10 matches on this surface, indoor hard at main level, 60% win rate, service points won and return points won, total of 103. Very impressive indeed for a guy who's ranked 80 in the world. We know he's got the ability. Medjedovic, has he got the temperament to go with it? Not so sure. And Stan loves taking on the better players. He's not going to be afraid of going toe to toe with these young guys, and it still holds. His form still holds up. Wawrinka's taken at least a set in 11 of his last 15 main level matches played against top 100 opponents. The other side of the coin is that he's lost in a deciding set in 11 of his last 14 matches played at main level against top 100 opponents. So he's still holding serve a lot. He's still extremely competitive, in the rallies from the back of the court. Wawrinka, it all leads towards totals for me. I think if I was betting in this, I would be inclined to have a bit of pizza money on the set betting here. Medjedovic to win it by 2-1 at it was plus 270 when I last looked at this with Bet Rivers. I think that's where I'd go. Wawrinka, as I said, he does tend to fade away a little bit at the end of the match. He's still proven, by the way, that you could go 5 against Machac-Gea in Melbourne, but more often than not, he tends to run out of a little bit of steam towards the end of the matches. So Medjedovic 2-1, I think, is a fairly juicy price and a fair option for that match.
Plus 280 currently on the Bet Rivers app.
Even juicier.
You've juiced it up a little bit bigger for you. If you download the Bet Rivers app, you'll be able to see that. You'll also be able to live stream that as well. And don't forget February Fun Bet. Tennis, soccer, basketball, whatever sport you're following right now, bet on it with a February Fun Bet. Betting Weekly and Bet Rivers have teamed up to give you a $10 bonus bet at Bet Rivers when you enter the bonus code BW201. That code again is BW201. Offer expires on February the 15th. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now, we spoke about a 41-year-old in March. Now we go to the completely other level of it here, to one extreme to the other. We've got Moise Kouame a 16-year-old lad who is having a sensational run at the moment. He hasn't lost in 12 matches this year. I know, obviously, some of these matches from future events, but in Montpellier has come through 2 matches. But he's been the underdog in both of them, but he's come through with wins as well. Elias Yima was one of the wins for him as well. They've gone the distance, but he's obviously a talent. First time I've seen him, first time many people have seen him, first time he's appeared on here. And he's up against the man who was the last year's runner-up, Kovacevic. Now, this line has moved a little bit from the graphic again there. There has been some price movements this morning. We have minus 195, but unfortunately, if you want to bet the favourite here, it's now minus 220. Kouame is plus 170. Spread is 2.5, and it's minus 132 now for Kovacevic, and the total here is 22.5. Don't know much about, well, I don't know anything about Kouame, but what do you know about him? What can you tell us about this young? He's going to be a talent. You can see that by his results. But what do you know about him?
Yeah, Moise Kouame.
Kouame. Okay.
That's how I'm told that it's Moise Kouame. I stand to be corrected on that. If that's not the case, I apologise, but I think it is. I mean, this kid could be the next. He could be the next big thing in men's French tennis potentially. And I mean, the odds do suggest. He's got a ton of ability. You know, what is it there? Plus 170, did you say?
Yeah. It's well, he's actually moved slightly. I mean, he was plus 170 on the graphic. It's plus 170, still 170. Yeah,
plus 170. I mean, if you're looking at, if you forget who these people are and you say, oh, the world number 551, young kid, 551 is playing a guy who last week was just outside the top 50 in the world, you would suggest the odds should be bigger than plus 170. I think that tells you that the ability that people think this young man has. Only 16 at the minute, as you said, 17 next month.
I've sent him a
6th
card
of March.
As well.
Huh?
I've sent him a card as well.
Yeah, 6th. You do pretty well on the cards this year, aren't you? 6th of March. Yeah, you're just in time. Well, very much in time. We know that he's working with Richard Gasquet, which also suggests that the young man has got a lot of ability. You know, I'm sure Richard Gasquet wouldn't be just coaching just anybody. Obviously, just recently retired Gasquet. One of the prominent French tennis journalists that I follow has said that that Kouame reminds him a lot of Gaël Monfils in terms of play style, which will be very entertaining for the French crowds, obviously, in years to come. He's already won 2 ITF titles already this season, as you said. And he's won them at a very similar age to his mentor, Gasquet. Gasquet won his first ITF age 15 and 10 months. And Kouame's just won it at 16. So a little less than, well, not that long behind, is it? It's probably just less than a year behind or whatever. But yeah, so a similarly precocious talent, you would suggest, to Richard Gasquet. As you said, he beat Elias Yima, saved a match point, in fact, to beat Elias Yima in the qualies. He's beaten 2 top 200 players to get here. He practiced with Arthur Fils actually on Friday here as well. So the word has obviously got around about this young man and how good he is and how good he's going to be. As far the problem we've got is to evaluate exactly where he is now when he's playing a top player. In this case, Kovacevic, 83 in the world now. He was 50 odd, but he's all those points that he made for the final here last year as a qualifier have come off. So he's got to defend them. He's now gone down to 83, but he's still a top player, Kovacevic. And the only player that perhaps people will know that Kouame has played so far is our old friend Botic van der Zandschulp, who beat him in qualies in straight sets in Madrid last year. So we're not sure how his game's going to hold up against one of the top players. As far as Kovacevic is concerned, he's going to be highly motivated. We know he made the final here a year ago as a qualifier. He's got 100 and odd points to defend. But what he did in this tournament last year, it was very serve dominated. Service points won and return points won, total of 102 in the main draw. But only 31% of return points won, which is pretty low, and 92% holds of serve. So a very serve dominated set of numbers that he produced here last year. Again, he started 2026 very well. Kovacevic made the semi-finals in Brisbane. Didn't really back that up. Lost to Drogaway in the Quimper Challenger last week. But I wouldn't be concerned about that if you're thinking of betting Kovacevic here. I would imagine that he's just used that Quimper Challenger as a tune-up for this. because of the fact that he's got a lot of points to defend this week. He didn't want to exhaust himself, I wouldn't have thought, in a challenger last week. So given that Kovacevic has a very serve-oriented profile, and given that we know this young man, Kouame, has a lot of ability, again, I'd probably be going over 22.5. Just going to be a lean, because I don't know enough about Kouame at this exact moment in time. I think I'll learn quite a bit about him tomorrow in this match against Kovacevic. But if you are having a bet, I'd probably, again, head towards the overs, given that Kovacevic doesn't break serve too much, holds a lot. Kouame is obviously going to be pumped for this. It'd be a really interesting watch, I think. Yeah,
we've got the graphic showing 23.5, but if you want to use the toggle to go down to 22.5, it's -129 with Bet Rivers. If you want to play 23.5, you will be getting -103. So there are the three matches for Wednesday. It's not the greatest of fields, but this is all we can work with at this moment in time. So we've got three games. We've got one official play or no official plays.
Yeah, we got an official play, which is the first one that I talked about, which is the Gea match against Machac, over 22.5 games in that one. I believe it was -109. We Bet Rivers that price, over 22.5 games in that one.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see all of these go pretty long. Maybe to download the app, watch the live action from Montpellier. Myself and Sean will be back tomorrow for our final Betting Weekly Game Bet match of the week. And if you want to follow me on socials, at Because We Win, I'll be in Montpellier from Thursday. So you'll be able to see anything we have there courtside for a couple of days. February Fun Bet, remember that. Tennis, soccer, basketball, whatever your sport. Followings right now. Bet on it with February Fun Bet. Betting Weekly and Bet Rivers have teamed up to give you a $10 bonus bet with Bet Rivers when you enter the bonus code BW201. The code again, BW201. Offer expires on February the 15th. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's it for this day's Betting Weekly Game Bet match. One official play, a couple of leans. Good luck with them. Sean, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll speak to you all again tomorrow. Take care.